All right, so Anglaise. This is probably one of the most challenging sauces for my new students to make. So take this exercise very, very seriously. You may not get it your first time. You may need to practice a few times, and that's okay. Vanilla sauce is one of those things that you can use it to make a mousse, a Bavarian. You can use it to make ice cream. You can actually use Anglaise to make a cremeux. There's lots of things you can do with a well-made Anglaise. So never fear if you're practicing it and making it again and make it again and make it again. It's just one of those things. And it is part of your final practical exam for this class. So we're going to start first by talking about the milk. We've got our milk in here. We're going to put it into the stove. And after the milk's in, we're going to take our sugar, okay, and we're going to put that in a bowl. And we're going to take our eggs. In this case, this is our egg yolks. Once again, we're going to start whisking that almost immediately. We're going to be doing the tempering process. Now, during the pastry cream video, because hopefully you watched the pastry cream video before you're doing this one. During the pastry cream video, we let it come to a boil. In this case, we do not want it to come to a boil. You can actually use a thermometer, keep your flame on medium to low, and you can just keep swirling around using your red handle spatula, high temp, because you don't want to use a whisk to do this. You want to be able to make sure you're getting the bottom of the pot all the way around. Okay? And then the vanilla extract that we have, because we're making a vanilla anglaise, we'll put that in at the end. So first we have to get our milk to a boil. I have other tools and things that are here. I have a bowl of ice water, and I have a spoon. And the spoon is so that I can actually measure and see that the batter is what we call nappe, or to coat the back of the spoon. Okay? N-A-P-P-E, nappe. Okay? So, we've got that all whisked together. Check our milk. And then, of course, like I said, we're going to temper these two together, and then we'll bring the camera in pretty close so you can kind of watch the process. I will tell you that there's a certain feel. You will feel it in your hand, in the spatula while you're going. You do not want your temperature on high. You want it to be on a low to medium. It might take longer to cook it, but it'll be well done. So, because if it's not made well, it'll curdle, it'll break, and of course, if you've ever had sweet scrambled eggs, it's pretty darn nasty, and the texture is horrible. So, it's one of those things. It seems so simple, but it's not. It needs to be made properly. And once you understand the concept of protein coagulation, 165, 170, 175, 180, 180, 182, 80. I usually stop at 180 and figure that the pot's going to do a carryover at least 2 more degrees for me anyway. But you can actually use a thermometer while you're stirring. Now, I know that's weird because you're doing this with 2 hands, but it does work. And I've got a thermometer with me today, so I can do that with you. So you'll be able to see through the process, okay? So I've got my thermometer on. We are now come to a boil. I'm going to, once again, tempering the hot liquid over the eggs, cold liquid. Okay. At this point, I'm going to get rid of the whisk. Don't need the whisk anymore. I'm going to turn my heat off on the stove because as I'm getting set up, okay, and pouring everything back in, I need to make sure that it is working properly. I can place that into my ice bath. Okay. Now I'm going to turn my stove back on to low to medium. And you should be able to see the temperature there. However, I cannot.
146. Now it's at 50, 150.
It's not going to take very long. Can you actually see the numbers on the screen? Mm-hmm. That's good. All right. So I'm going around. I'm making sure that I'm constantly moving. It's kind of like a figure 8. You want to make sure you're getting everywhere on the bottom. So we're at what, 160 and climbing. So right now the eggs are starting to coagulate. 162, 63. But a well-made Anglaise, let me tell you, the world is your oyster in the pastry world. You can do pretty much anything if you know how to make an Anglaise really, really well. There's a lot of skill sets involved. Some people take it for granted. I think it's one of the most important things for you to learn as a new pastry culinarian. It's the base for a really good Bavarian. It's the base for a nice oeuf de la neige, the sauce that they float in. 75, 76, 77, 78. And you can already see the sauce itself is starting to thicken. 179, 180. And I'm going to pull it at this point. Right then and there, I'm going to pull because my pot is going to carry over that temp. Okay? And then I'm going to pour it right into my ice bath. And you'll notice in the bottom of the pot, no scorch, well done. Okay? I can then go ahead and add in my vanilla. Adding it at this point ensures that I'm actually going to get some of that flavor like I want. And that's it. That is our finished Anglaise. We'll check it with our spoon to see if we've got our nappe. It should hold a line. And it doesn't go away. You actually have that line there, so it's a nice nappe. Just barely set. I would rather go on the under than the over, because once you go to the over, it doesn't take long to go to scramble. So after our Anglaise is all properly chilled, we can then pour it into our appropriate containers. Once again, make sure everything is labeled and dated. And this can be put in the fridge and stored for up to 3 to 4 days. Once again, DHEC says we can go to 7. 3 to 4 is good, and it starts to lose some of its really good, tasty qualities. So, and that's it for Anglaise. Practice, practice, practice your Anglaise.